Hey guys, Jonathan here, and in today's video, we're taking a look at every single LEGO Marvel Symbiote minifigure that's ever been made. This goes all the way back to the original Comic-Con exclusive 2012 Black Suit Spider-Man, which unbelievably, LEGO has never given us just a regular Black Suit Spider-Man beyond that, and we'll talk about that whole history, of course, and it brings us all the way up to present day in 2025. So let me know what you guys think of these, how many of them you have, and without further ado, let's start getting into every symbiote minifig ever made. So our very first symbiote minifig was the 2012 Spider-Man Black Suit Symbiote exclusive from San Diego Comic-Con. Only 1,000 of these were made, and it actually had a really cool collector card that it came with, which I have here. You've got the boom on the back there. Tell the Costco guys. And then, of course, we've got this info on the back, but what makes this so valuable is the exclusive head print. This head print was only ever used on this minifig, and the torso was actually used on Venom the following year in 2013, but given the exclusivity of this figure, which again, the only exclusive thing is the head and the backer card I just showed you, it goes for over $1,500 as of this video. So it's a very rare figure, definitely one I'm grateful to own in my collection, and the first one to talk about in numerical historic order. We got our first ever Venom minifigure the following year in 2013. This figure would be used again in 2014, and this is where I want to set a little precedent for the video. Sometimes the same figure will be used multiple times, but like with, tentacles or something like that, in this video, we're only going to be talking about the figure itself, not necessarily every variation of, like, tentacles on the back. But, as mentioned, this Venom uses the exact same torso as the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Spider-Man, and the only thing exclusive here was the head, which, in my opinion, this is my favorite Venom head we've gotten over the years, because I really like those sharp teeth and the closed mouth look. It's just so menacing compared to the later Venom we'll see in a little bit here. 2 years later, in 2015, we got our first ever Carnage minifigure, and man, LEGO went all out for this one. Now, I know I just said that I wasn't going to talk about the tentacles on every single figure, but this Carnage only came in one set, and the set he came in had these tentacles and printed arms, which was amazing, considering it was a relatively cheap set. I think it was like $15 or maybe $20 max back in 2015, but getting hip printing, leg printing, and toe printing with arm printing in a cheap set was amazing. I love the head on this too, with the pink inside the mouth. It looks so awesome. And if we lift up this neck bracket, you can see he even had torso printing on the back, which was super detailed, and kind of a shame it got covered up by the tentacles. But this is my favorite Carnage minifig to date, just because I think the arm printing really sets this one apart. Believe it or not, we'd go 4 years into the year 2019 before we'd see Venom again. This gave us a brand new torso and a brand new head print, which at the time was really, really awesome, but this is the same head and torso that's been used ever since, so chances are very good if you've picked up a Venom minifig over the last several years, it's probably this one because he has come in a lot of sets. Compared to the original one, which I think it's fun to show side by side, of course the original one is here on the right, we did get a very different torso print. The new one has a little bit more bend to the arms of the spider on the left and right side, and the abs are actually a little bit more defined, particularly outside of the spider, and when we flip it around, you can see that the spider on the back is a lot wider on the new one compared to it being a little skinnier on the old one. In my opinion, the old one reminds me a lot more of the comics, the new one reminds me a lot more of the cartoons, but both are really good figures, so if you have either one, you're definitely set. 2019 was a big year for the symbiotes because we also got our first Carnage after 4 years as well. This is the Carnage that is still being used in LEGO sets to this day. Definitely a nice figure, no doubt about it, and since we compared him to Venom, we'll go ahead and compare him to the original Carnage. One of the things I really prefer about the original Carnage is all of the black on the torso. Just the way that I remember Carnage from the cartoons I watched growing up, comic books, the original Carnage really encapsulates that better, plus that arm printing is really, really amazing, whereas the new figure isn't bad, don't get me wrong, I just think it feels a little bit more like, I don't know, subdued compared to the craziness I think of when I think of how unhinged Carnage is and can be. 2020 gave us our first Venomized character in the sense that it's a character you don't traditionally think of having the Venom symbiote, but here it is. This is Iron Venom from 2020, and as you can see, he had a brand new Iron Man helmet print that had the Venom eyes on it, as if Tony's been taken over by the symbiote, and most of his suit has been venomized, except we can still see one arm that's shown there and a little bit of the torso being based off of the 2020 version of Iron Man from the video game. So if we lift it up, you can see we've just got a regular Tony Stark head underneath, which is quite cool, and I'll actually just go ahead and make it a part of this segment of the video, because the following year we got a LEGO Marvel accessory pack where we got another Iron Man that's been venomized, but this time only half of the helmet has been taken over and printed, and I really like this one because you can see all of just the leftover residue that's still on the Iron Man helmet from where it's been taken over, or maybe the Venom symbiote is retracting so you can see the Iron Man helmet, how we kind of see Venom act in his movies. So I really like that we got two different versions of this. It's not really based off of anything that existed in the comics at the time. It was just something LEGO came up with for fun, which, as we'll see, is a trend LEGO will pick up later in just a few short years. In that same accessory pack, we also got Pork Grind, which a lot of people think is Spider-Ham that's been venomized, but that's actually not true. This is the Venom version of the character from the Spider-Ham universe, so it's not Spider-Ham that's gotten the Venom symbiote, it's actually another character that has become that version of Venom. As you can see, it's got really great printing with tusks coming out of the mouth there. I love the black Spider-Man eyes on the nose, and then of course just the printing on there, and if we just put him next to Pork Grind, so you can, or excuse me, next to Spider-Ham, you can see it used the same Spider-Ham head, just with different printing, but it did use that same Venom torso that debuted in 2019 we looked at a little bit earlier. So basically the only thing exclusive here is the head, making it a pretty desirable figure, considering a lot of people don't even know this exists, let alone picking it up 4 years ago when it came out. Now, in 2024, LEGO came up with a very interesting concept, and that is venomizing other Spider-Man villains. Of course, we do see Doc Ock interact with the Carnage symbiote in the video game from the early 2000s, but Venomized Doc Ock isn't really a major thing from the comics, so LEGO really just kind of went out on their own when they made this. And interestingly, the head can actually be reversed. So on this side, Doc Ock has basically been fully venomized, but on the other side, we can see that only half of his face has been venomized. Speaking of that, only half of the torso has been venomized here, which I think was interesting because when we compare it to Iron Man, LEGO decided to do the opposite side being venomized, so just kind of like a neat little thing. And this, of course, is based off of the Doc Ock that's loosely based off of the video game adaptation with that green suit. We'll lift the arms up so you can see a little bit of the back has been venomized as well. But overall, I thought that this was an interesting concept. The only thing for me is when there's so many Marvel characters that we still need to be made, it does feel a little bit weird for LEGO to go and make their own design like this. So I do appreciate the uniqueness, don't get me wrong. But on the flip side, it's not my favorite LEGO Marvel figure ever, just kind of a fun curiosity to have in the collection. That same year, we also got Venomized Green Goblin. As you can see, the torso here has been much more taken over by the Venom symbiote, whereas the back hasn't been taken over completely. This, of course, is based off of the Green Goblin that has been used over the last several years, giving us the really nice Goblin hat piece, a fully venomized head on one side, and Goblin actually being scared to be taken over by the symbiote on this side. So that's pretty interesting, and yeah, I really dig this. I think it's also worth pointing out at this point that only Carnage of any of the minifigs shown so far has ever gotten leg printing. Kinda interesting, not that Venom really needs leg printing, just one of those things that makes you go, huh. In 2025, we got AntiVenom, which was such a cool minifig to get. Not really one anybody was expecting either, and basically the way AntiVenom works in the comics is he's more of an anti-hero or really a good guy than a bad guy because his main ability is actually being able to heal. It's a really fascinating history we've dove into on the channel in the past, but really, really cool to see him here with a brand new head and brand new torso print that pretty much are exclusive to this figure, so I really can't see it being used for anybody else, and I'm really glad LEGO did a slight deep dive to give us something really cool with AntiVenom. Alright guys, let me know how many of these you have in the comments down below. I'd love to hear. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun putting this together and walking down at memory lane. Hopefully we get more symbiotes someday in the future, and until then, guess we'll just have to stay tuned. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.